Hi, today we'll continue the series on setting up a hospitality business. And previously we talked about budgeting. I want to say this again. First, determine your budget before you determine how big or how small you want to start. Today, I want to dwell on location. How do you determine or get a good location? First, we have established previously that the location you want to set up in is subject to how much you can afford for procuring a property or for lease. If your total budget is 50 million or even 20 million naira to set up a restaurant or a supermarket, automatically that tells me that you cannot afford anywhere on the island if you're in Lagos, or anywhere around Wuse or Maitama. If you're in Abuja, you're definitely looking at other low-income areas for setup. Even if you're setting up in a low-income area, a highbrow area, there are still a lot of things that you need to consider to be able to determine where in that location you must set up in. We have several videos where we've talked about what are the localized features on a very busy street that would determine if you should take a property for lease or outright purchase to set up your hospitality business. A street might be commercially viable, but a particular property may be a problem for your business, especially if it's a restaurant or a lounge. The second thing that you want to consider for determining what location to accept for setting up your business is accessibility and transportation. Like we've always said, a street can be viable, but a particular property may be inaccessible. Is there a break anywhere close to this particular property you're considering? Can your customers on any of the opposite direction of traffic easily access you no matter where they're headed, and then do a quick turn and go back to where you're coming from after they come to purchase from you? These are hacks, these are secrets, these are things that are not spoken, not in any textbook, but we've learned from experience that accessibility to your property is very important. The building itself must be unmistakably obvious, and so should your signages and emblems that clearly marks or stands you out in the midst of even competitors. The next thing you want to determine is foot traffic or vehicular traffic. One of the things we normally do is to go and do foot traffic counts and vehicular traffic counts for locations. While some streets may look very busy, if you take a moment, 30 minutes, 1 hour of the day, 3 different times during the day, maybe in the morning, afternoon, and evening, you'll be shocked that it's not always as busy as it seems. And you may need to do that over 2, 3, 4, 5 days to determine the consistency and know how reliable your data is. All this process of data collection is very important in determining if a road is truly busy and if the kind of people that you want to invite to your space are actually passing through that place. The next thing that is very critical, does this location that you have found align with the budget you have set on the beginning? So now this is what I think. There may be times where, because of how good a location is, each of the items checks out in pointing to the fact that this location is very viable. You may be tempted to go beyond your budget. You need to critically consider whether any location is worth you increasing or overrunning your budget for lease, rent, or purchase for. Rent or purchase is another powerful determinant for accepting the location. Another critical thing I want to determine is infrastructure. And I mean infrastructure, I mean what is the availability of electricity, good and potable water in that space. These two things and some other things that has to do with infrastructure, like the road networks and the rest of them, can pose a major operation problem to your business. For example, water. Water can look clean and good, but will cost you a whole lot to treat when the water test result comes out and you find out that the water is hard or the water has low pH level or high pH level. Sometimes you then need to also spend money running a treatment plant, and it makes your running cost more bogus. You also want to determine how constant or how regular power supply is in that neighborhood. Experience has shown that public power supply is still cheaper to run your business when compared with cost of running a generator. No matter how cheap the rent is or how viable the location checks out, running costs will become a huge problem for profitability in the future. The sixth item, I don't know if you'll be counting, is competition. Who are the other businesses in that neighborhood that is doing something similar to what you want to do? How long have they been there? How well are they doing? Do they look like they are unable to cater for the number of customers or clients that comes into their space every day, and so there is an obvious need for more similar brands? Or do they look like they are even struggling and doing everything possible to even survive in that space? In determining the location, these are the things you must consider. The presence of competitors and how well they are doing, what is the reason why they are not doing well, are very important in considering the acceptance of setting up in a particular location. The seventh thing they want to consider is regulation and zoning permits. I hope you know that in many cities, certain businesses cannot set up in certain locations. So you want to be sure that your business, a hotel, lounge, or supermarket is acceptable in that space. The next thing you want to consider in accepting a location is safety and security. It's very important. I once told you a story how one restaurant that I know closed down a shop because hoodlums were very common in that environment, because there was a slum very close to that restaurant space. And so customers were afraid to come into that restaurant anytime from 6 p.m. in the evening because of fear of being attacked. So your location has to be very secured. You need to also put measures in place to ensure that customers feel safe going in and out of that your restaurant space. There must be no natural hazard, no any kind of threat whatsoever to the security of lives and property of your customers as they come in to patronize your business. Finally, this has to do with local authority issues, approval issues. You want to consider if there is any government encumbrance in that area. Even if you are taking up an existing building, you still want to do a search. Don't say, oh, there's a building here, there's an existing. Oh, it was even a restaurant that moved or a hotel that moved out to that place. I'll just take it up, renovate it, and then I'll start my own business. You want to check and double check and cross check so that in the future, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years after you set up, government doesn't come and say, this land, this space is not designated for what you're using it for. So you want to consider future growth and development and how it will affect that particular location that you want to take for your business. See you in the next video.